It has lots of things inside, and you can also discover Southampton's Titanic story. Titanic also departed here and then went up to Queensland, but it was actually made in Northern Ireland, so it is a British ship. So it went off to this town, and then it went up to Queensland, and then it went to America. But it sank in 1912, April 15th. And it broke in two. That was how it became the most famous ship to sink. It was called the unsinkable ship. All ships are named after a girl, like the Queen Mary, the Elizabeth II. Also, you know, named after Elizabeth II, the Queen. So we are going to take you and show you what's inside. Let's go. Titanic. So the Titanic was made in Northern Ireland, made by Howland and Wolff. Once it was built, it was called the Unsinkable Ship, and it was the biggest ship in the world from 1912. Once it was built, it travelled to Southampton, and then it went to Queensland, Ireland, and then it went all the way across to America. But it didn't do it because they didn't know that there was actually an ice field behind America, so they crashed into an iceberg. But luckily this ship's person that steered the ship away from the iceberg from head crashing, he stand on the side opening 6 watertight doors, allowing the ship to sink. It only took 2 hours and 14 minutes for the entire ship to sink. Only 1,500 people died, only over 705 survived. When once it was sinking, they called for any other ships in the area. They called for the California before they hit the iceberg, but they didn't answer because they ignored the ice warning that they sent. So they signaled the Carpathia, which arrived in 4 hours just after the Titanic sank. Carpathia was able to recover the 705 survivors, but not all of them. The famous people on the Titanic was the captain, the person who drove the Titanic away from the iceberg, the captain who ordered the men to go at full speed 24 knots into the iceberg, but they didn't know there was an iceberg. So the Captain Edward, would be the responsible of the sinking of the Titanic. Not anyone else. Although there was belief of a fire inside the coal bunker that weakened the steel. If Titanic hadn't had that coal fire, if it struck it wouldn't have sunk. If they had head crashed, they would only done 2 watertight compartments, and it would sink very slowly, only about 4 hours, giving Titanic to come. Even the Carpathia to come. Although the Olympic was nearby, but they couldn't come there. The Olympic was Titanic's sister ship, was also made at the time by Howland and Wolff. But unlike Titanic, it didn't sink. It went to America and back for a decade. It was also used in World War I. Then it got scrapped. There's also another sister ship that Titanic and Olympic had, Britannic, also used in World War II. It was struck by a mine and sank in only 55 minutes. Fortunately for Britannic, it had more lifeboats than Titanic. Titanic only had 20. Olympic had more, but Britannic had the same amount as Olympic. So they had 55 lifeboats. They could only launch 3 at a time. So more people about more than Titanic's survival rate, more people survived on the Britannic while it was sinking. Also, once they were sinking, the captain ordered to go full speed still to the nearby Greek island. And once they loaded the lifeboats, the ship's propellers actually destroyed them because throwing it towards, then it completely obliterated the lifeboat, totally killing all the people on it. But the majority of the people survived. There's about 1,000 of the ship's population. So that's what I got to say about Titanic, Olympic and Britannic, the three sisters. Hello everyone, welcome back to CAK TV. We are at the Southampton port where Titanic docked. I'm not actually sure where it really docked, but it did dock here. And it exited to Cherbourg, France, and then it went to blah blah blah. All you know is that everyone knows the story of the Titanic. And now lots of cruise ships have always docked here. Some container ships, some of them were docked over there. Now this has become a cruise ship docking place where they go to the Isle of Wight and everywhere else, blah blah. So that's all I have to say from this port. So goodbye.